Hey, howdy do. This is take 32. And that's actually kind of, I know it's a joke to start the video, but it's honestly a little bit closer than is probably recommended to admit. But hey, what's up? I'm back with another drawing video, and this one is of Toga from My Hero Academia. For those of you who don't know or haven't seen the show, My Hero Academia is pretty much it's a show about superheroes that go to school and learn how to be superheroes, but there's a lot of villains involved too. And this character in particular, which is just the kawaii anime schoolgirl looking character, her name is Toga, and she's a serial killer. And, she likes to stab people and drink their blood because she'll absorb their powers. Just like normal high school kids, I guess. At least now. I don't know. I didn't do the homeschooling thing. I graduated in time. I am just working on this drawing, and there's a couple of different process changes that I wanted to go through for this one. So, I don't know. I guess I could run you through them. It'll give me something to talk about for the video. So the first thing you might have noticed is this video is 15 minutes long, or, at least before I go and edit it down, it'll be 15 minutes long. But that isn't necessarily for watch time. I know a lot of videos have gotten longer on YouTube just because of watch time. More people watch your video, you'll make more cash monies from YouTube. But, when everything you make gets demonetized from YouTube anyway, that's not your number one priority. So the reason I'm making these videos longer is actually for a very practical reason. See, when I work on stuff like painterly drawings, they take forever to make, like 12 to 20 hours of forever to make, and if I speed that down to a 10-minute video, it moves way too fast for anybody to see and understand what the heck is going on. So I figured I could slow them down, and then for the people that watch these speed paints for more of a informational or informative purpose, you can see the speed paint. It's fast enough that hopefully you don't get bored out of your mind, but it's not so fast that you just see me zooming in and out at, breakneck speed and you have a seizure and fall over and have a bad time. That's why I made them longer, so you can see what's going on. Because the other workaround I could have gone with is to just cut stuff up, remove the unimportant bits, remove when the camera's still, which is just the moments like when I'm thinking, So if you ever see the canvas just stop, it's because I'm thinking. Or, I'm getting water or bashing my head into a wall or terrorizing my roommates with a cosplay Zelda sword that's actually made of metal. But, that's besides the point. I decided that I would make them a little bit longer because if I cut out the important bits like the backgrounds, people who might be here to know how I drew a background specifically would look at this and be like, damn you and your abridging speed paints. That's why I decided to make the videos a little bit longer. Only trade-off is, I don't know if I can rant for 15 minutes. I figured I would come up with a list of things that I can talk about to just make this as insightful as possible. And, hopefully you'll learn a thing or two from the commentary, or at the very least, you'll be engaged about it. But I figured what I would just talk about in this one is just some workflow changes, because I'm pretty sure for anybody who does speed paints, that they take forever. And by the time you're done with the drawing, you feel good about yourself, but then you remember you gotta record audio, you gotta edit, you gotta add music, get a copyright strike, you gotta dispute that copyright strike. Stuff like that. Just the fun, average life of an art YouTuber, like one tends to do. First change that you'll notice is me in the bottom left corner. I promise that I'm not drawing this at breakneck speed in real time. This is during a live stream. So, if you see a chat, you see alerts, you see me at the bottom. That's because I was actually streaming this live on Twitch. Don't know how many people know about that, but, I do actually stream every Sunday. So if anybody wants to hop into streams and ask me questions while I'm working on stuff, I dedicate those streams to letting people know what the heck I'm doing. I'll try my best in my broken, incomprehensible English to tell you guys what I'm doing and what I'm planning. So, I wanted to show this part of it just because, I figured why not? I got a green screen. It's fun. It looks like I'm a part of the Photoshop interface, but I'm not. I don't know. I figured like if Photoshop actually had a Skittles interface, I think that I'd just permanently switch over to Clip Studio Paint because I can't stand me. I don't know why people would include that in the software. I also changed up my drawing process and even my recording process. Right now I'm actually standing up because I don't know. I've seen from a couple of different people that do these commentary things is they actually stand up because they can be more articulate and stuff and, you know, gesticulate and articulate with their hands more. And it's fun. It's nice. I get the appeal of it. Only thing is I'm standing in my living room like a weirdo in front of a screen, kind of shimmy-shammying back and forth. But, you know, now that you have that mental image in your head of me doing this commentary, you're welcome. The other advantage is I do talk with my hands, and I stop slapping my Cintiq because there's been more occasions than I'm proud to admit where you'll just hear a loud and that's me slapping my Cintiq on accident just because I talk with my hands and I'll slap it. And I'm like, well, let's try that line again. I figured, you know, I'll stop slapping expensive equipment if I just stand up. And if you sound more energized and lively from it, that's good. And I also hope that I'm not sounding like I'm going left and right a crazy amount because you know how it'd be with them fancy recordings where you have like bi-directional recording. What? You hear me on the left, you hear me on this right. This isn't ASMR, it's just cringe. I changed up my recording process, so you know, right now I'm standing like a weirdo in my living room. Hopefully the audio sounds like I'm not as dead inside, but there is more important changes that I'll also be talking about, and this is in regards to the actual speed painting process. So for anybody who knows, because either you do speed paints as well or you just know art people that do, speed paints take forever. You got to make the drawing, you know, record it, dispute it, everything and whatnot, whatever. But then afterwards, when it's actually done, you kind of don't want to make the video. You're done with the art and you don't want to make the video. So I've kind of made a workaround for that, and that's that I hired an editor.
Yes, bow down, acknowledge my true power, mortals.
You know, I made a sacrifice to the Scottish art gods, and they have provided and blessed me with an editor.
Fetch me a pair.
Pretty much the gist of it, the way you'll be able to tell is if the videos look good and they're edited and they have, you know, funny close-ups and funny zooms and funny ha-has. He worked on those because he's talented. But if they're like lazy, dead inside, it's just commentary and a drawing going super fast, these ones were me. So if a video's bad, you know, blame it on me. And if a video's good, praise him. But yeah, I got an editor, and this is in regards to the actual drawing process. I don't know if people have the same thing I do, but I kind of have a lifespan of patience for drawings, which is, you know, you can work on it for about X amount of time before you start dreading it. And for me, that lifespan of time is somewhere between, you know, 10 to 12 hours. Anything after that, I kind of start to hate myself and die a little bit inside. And normally what I would do is I would work on the background first, you know, just work from back to front like you normally do in paintings and whatnot. The problem with that is I would spend so long on the background that by the time I get to the character, I'm already emotionally done with the drawing. So what I decided to do this time is I draw the background, I sketch it out, I get enough of the color down that I understand where the light source is going to be, and then I'll, you know, go back to the character, work on the character since they're the focal point of the drawing, and then after I'm done with the character, then go back to the background and make it detailed. Because I've had the problem in the past where I work on the background for 10 hours, it looks like a stock image. I wonder why I didn't just use a stock image, and the background ends up being more detailed than the character. So I gotta blur the background and then be like, well, that was 10 hours of your life that you wasted and you'll never get back. But that also makes drawing the rest of the piece not very enjoyable just because I'm just emotionally done with the drawing already. So I'm trying out this method and I do like it so far. It's cut my work time in half because now I know how detailed I need to make the backgrounds because I have the subject of the drawing already worked out. So for this, what I did is I made the sketch of the background, you know, I made the character and everything, did a rough coloring of the background, worked on Toga for the most part, and then when I was done with Toga, that's when I went back to the background. and then I just made that as detailed as it needed to be just for this drawing's sake. And that's going to be what I try to do from now on, because my workflow went from like 12 to 20 hours to this drawing where it took 9 to 12, which, you know, if you cut your drawing time in half, that's pretty good. But yeah, it's just gonna keep me from making overly detailed backgrounds unless that's what I'm going for. But if that is what I'm going for, I have the subject matter done first, which is the character, because, you know, I'm pretty sure people will look at this drawing and care more about how Toga looks than the background. The background is just a nice, you know, just a nice little touch. That's what I did with the workflow. And again, like I was saying for the commentary, I'll try to have insightful things to say, but I also don't want to bore you guys. So, you know, this is just in future reference. If I have videos where I run out of things to say, won't talk your ear off, I'll just start playing music, and then maybe if I come back with something else to say, I'll wait till the sick beats are finished. But yeah, so I'll try to find a fine-tuning and a balance of that. But yeah, I hope that you guys found this drawing informational and that you found it useful. It would probably be a little bit more useful if I explained some of the things that I was doing. But I don't know. This first one is to more explain what's going to be going on in the future. And then in the next videos, hopefully I'll come up with more insightful things to say. But speaking of which, you know, now that I'm going to be doing longer speed paints, I do actually want to get everyone watching these videos more involved as well. So if there's things you want me to talk about, like for example, I'm using a perspective tool in Clip Studio Paint here. If those are things you want me to talk about or cover, go ahead and let me know, because I want to make useful commentary. Like, you know, entertaining is important, sure, because I feel like you can make something informative and entertaining, but I want to make these useful speed paints, you know, not just like funny, haha, giggly, he said, but speed paints. I want to make them useful. I want people to watch these, walk away from them, feel like they learned something, and, you know, apply it to your own drawings, and then let me know, hey, my background sucked just this much less because I watched your video. And if that happens, cool, but, you know, I gotta know what to talk about. So if you guys have any topics in mind that you want me to cover, I'll either make tutorials or more speed paints where I can kind of show you an example of how I do this or how I do that. But, you know, that takes input. So if there's anything you want to see, let me know in the description, or in the description. You can't type my descriptions unless you have my YouTube password. You want my YouTube password? Does anyone want this YouTube channel? Let me know in the comments. And speaking of this drawing, this will be available on Patreon for this month, or if you're late, it will also be available on Gumroad, because those are two things that I'm trying to prioritize as well, you know, just to keep this channel going, make it better. Pretty much all the proceeds that I make from Patreon are going to go back into these videos to make these things more informational, because I'm actually, with what I'm doing with Patreon now, is the reason why I can hire an editor, you know. So instead of making these videos just a little better, I want to make them a lot better, so you guys can learn art and I can learn art and we can all learn art together. But yeah, this will also be a print in my store soon. All of the links to all of that stuff will be in the description, you know, so if you want a creepy toga staring at you from when you're asleep, you know, get help. But if you do, it'll be in the store later. And yeah, I'll just link everything in the description, like I said. And if you guys want to know about any subject matter, you want to know my take on something, whether it's backgrounds, how I draw in Painterly, how I draw in semi-realism, or whatever, you know, just I want to make this channel a resource for people to get better at drawing. So, you know, if you want to get good, not that I'm good, but, you know, if we want to get good together, just let me know, give me some input, and we'll make it happen. But that's all that I got for now, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.